please. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being with us this morning. And I want to first start by thanking the brave men and women of Engine 2 and Rescue Squad 1 who called this station home, and I want to thank them for their bravery in responding each and every day to emergencies across the district. And this particular company, of course, responded to the unfortunate and tragic incident at L'Enfant Plaza. And they're actually out on a call now, responding to an incident in the city near or in a metro station as we speak. So FEMS personnel put their lives on the line each and every day to make sure that others are safe, and we are eternally grateful for their hard work. Let's give a round of applause to our folks in FEMS. I would like to also say that I'm joined today by my City Administrator, Rashad Young, the Deputy City Administrator, Kevin Donahue, our Chief of Police, Kathy Lanier, our Director for Homeland Security here in the District of Columbia, Chris Geldhart. I know we're also joined by our union leadership, Ed Smith, and Kenny Lyons. So give them a round of applause also. And we're also joined at the podium by Councilmember Jack Evans. We're in Ward 2, right, Jack? Yes, we are in Ward 2. And Jack, of course, is a stalwart member of the council and a longtime leader in the emergency preparedness area on the council. So I'm committed, as you know, to diligently working to work with our police officers and firefighters and emergency medical services personnel. We want to make sure they have the best training, support, and resources to do their jobs effectively every day in order to make Washington, D.C. the safest big city in America. And as a city, we know we have challenges. Our population is growing at a historic level, putting strains on our emergency response infrastructure. In January 2015, the department responded to almost 16,000 calls. That amounts to more than 500 calls every single day. My administration is committed to rising to that challenge and delivering world-class services to our residents and visitors. On the campaign trail, I promise to hire an experienced, forward-thinking leader for D.C. Fire and Emergency Medical Services with a strong EMS background to improve the department's performance, improve provider and customer confidence, and ensure results. Since November, my team has embarked on a nationwide search for the right leader for D.C. Fire and EMS. And today I'm pleased to announce that leader, Gregory Dean, the next fire chief for the District of Columbia. Yes. So Chief Dean joins the district from Seattle, Washington, the other Washington, where he spent decades serving the residents of that city, including 10 years as its chief for fire and emergency medical service. During his tenure, the Seattle Fire Department was fire-based emergency medical services, and it was considered to be one of the highest performing in the entire nation. In May 2014, Seattle and King County announced that its overall cardiac arrest survival rate had reached an all-time high of 62%, up from 26% in 2002. Chief Dean has had a successful career in firefighting and EMS management and operations and was respected throughout the Seattle region for his vision, results, the training of providers, and commitment to partnership. He will be a dynamic addition to the district's public safety team, which I've announced already. With Chief Gene, we're going to make sure our emergency personnel have the support, training, and resources they need, along with top-notch equipment to do their job effectively each and every day. Before I introduce our new chief to address you, I want to thank Interim Chief Jones for his leadership and service, not just as interim chief in D.C., but for his long career of public service. During the transition, Edward Mills will serve as the interim chief. He will work closely with me, my administration, and Chief Dean to ensure a smooth transition and ensures that the department will stay focused on its daily mission of protecting the safety of our residents. With that, before you hear from the chief, I want to invite Councilmember Evans to greet you and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. And first of all, good morning, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here with our Mayor, Mayor Bowser, to welcome the new chief to the District of Columbia. But let me see this. Mayor Bowser is working enormously hard in her administration to really bring a fresh start to the District of Columbia, and in her brief time here has indeed done that. So let's give our Mayor a big round of applause. Doing a great job these days. And I'm very pleased to be here with our police chief, Kathy Lanier, who again has done an exemplary job in leading our police force and has done a great job in making our city safe. So give our chief a big round of applause. Chief, thank you for being here today. And I'm very pleased to be here at a firehouse. As many of you know, I've said it over the years, my dad was a volunteer firefighter up in northeastern Pennsylvania in one of these little small towns, and I spent many a Friday night in the firehouse, running up the stairs and sliding down the pole. So it's always a really almost a hearkening back when I find myself in a firehouse. And I have a lot of affinity for our firefighters. They are out there every day working hard on our behalf, putting their lives in jeopardy, and really making this a safe city. And so I'd like, once again, all of us to give our firefighters a big round of applause. Thank you for all that you do. So, Chief, we're really excited for your coming to the District of Columbia. Our firefighting department has improved vastly over the years, and I really believe we're at a level that we can take this to a new level. District of Columbia was and can be the model fire department for the nation, where people come and train, where people come and learn how to do new things. And I believe under your leadership, we are actually going to get to that point in time. This is a critical time in the District of Columbia. There's a lot going on with our city, with our safety, with our metro, as we talked about, and the fire department plays a very critical role in that. So, Chief, I'm looking forward to working with you and the council in getting you confirmed. I sit on the Judiciary Committee. I used to chair it, and so we're looking forward to sitting down with you, getting you confirmed quickly, getting you on the job, and really making this department the best in the nation. So thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. So without further ado, Greg Dean.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser, and thank you to Chief Jones, whose service and leadership has led the D.C. Fire Department. I am pleased to be here and to begin here today because I get to start a new endeavor. Seattle, Washington, and Washington D.C. are very similar. We have roughly the same population. Additionally, we have almost the similar fire and EMS services that we provide. But I know that Washington, D.C. has a unique set of challenges. The mayor has said the department needs to rise to meet those challenges going forward. D.C. Fire also serves not just the citizens of the city, but also the hundreds of thousands of people that may not call Washington home, but come here every day to work and visit in this city. I've spoken at length with the mayor, and I'm ready to bring much-needed reforms to build on the strength of this department. And I need to say very clearly that this is a great department with great people, and they have a proud history that I am honored to become a part of. I know that my goals for the department are the same goals that the people that come to work every day have, and that is to deliver efficient and compassionate service of fire and EMS to the citizens of this community using evidence-based data so that we can challenge ourselves and see exactly what we're doing. We took this approach in Seattle, and we achieved these goals with our citizens, and they became a national base that we hope that we can bring here. The mayor has committed to providing additional resources to allow for better assessment of our service delivery. And this includes an evaluation of our patient care. And we're going to look at more than just our response times. I will be prioritizing our recruitment, training, and retention of our highly qualified people. Having highly qualified emergency services throughout the district requires a fully staffed department of skilled men and women who know they are one of the city's most valuable resources. So before I turn it back over to the mayor, let me say again, I am pleased to be here. I'm excited about the challenges, and I look forward to working with the men and women of this department.
Thank you. So we're here if you have any questions. Are there any questions?
Sure. Question to the chief. You mentioned reforms that you're going to bring in. Could you elaborate on that?
I'm sorry?
You mentioned you're going to bring reforms to the department. If you could elaborate on what those reforms will be.
Well, sure. Let me start, and I'll turn it over to the chief in talking about what we have identified as what the department needs to rise up and do. And we talked for 20 months, actually, across the District of Columbia. We need to make sure that the department is able to respond to more calls. And we're getting a lot more calls, especially medical calls. We need to make sure we have a department that's responding to how the city is growing. More people living, working, and going to school, going to restaurants and bars and places that they haven't in years past. So we have to make sure we have a forward-looking department. It was very important that we had a chief that had the skills that Chief Dean brings in his focus, not to just how fast the departments respond, but how well and effective the care is that we're delivering. So that's the mission that I've charged him with, and I'll ask the chief to elaborate further.
So when we talk about challenges and how we're going to look at that, the reality is this. I need to come in and work with the men and women of this department and learn how they do business. I'm not here to say this is how we did business where I came from. I'm here to learn how we can do business here, create a team where we're going to be motivated and excited, from the little kid that comes into our fire station to visit us to the citizens who's having their worst moment of the day. That's our goal, to be a caring group of people that people will lean on, and we will work together to build that and make this a great department.
Hi. Welcome to Washington. Congratulations. Chief, if I might ask the chief a question, how aware are you of some of the embarrassing episodes that befell the department last year? A man collapsed of heart failure outside a fire department. He wasn't helped at all by the people right inside. There were stories about not knowing how many ambulances were available. It was really embarrassing for the current chief who's lost his job.
Chief.
I am aware of the events that have happened in the past, and I've talked to some of the firefighters here today, and what I said to them is this: every department has challenges across the country. And so our goal here is to learn from that, build from that, and see how we can make sure that we don't have repeat the same type of incidents that you're referring to right now.
How would you view the department's current morale coming in here?
Well, I haven't had an opportunity to get into the fire station and talk to the firefighters. I recognize that there's a lot of attention on the firefighters right now, and my goal is to address some of that through training, through recruitment, and start working toward that. But again, it's going to take working with the mayor's office, working with the council, and working with the department to start building on that.
Chief, question back here. 44 years with the Seattle Fire Department, last 10 as chief. When you retired, they were trying to get you to stay on, but you said no, it was time to move on. So why are you taking this job?
So for most, that was a short 2 months. For me, that was a long 2 months. I found out that I like being busy. I like using the skills that I have. And when the opportunity came to come out and do this again, I jumped on that opportunity. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited. I love working. Like I told somebody earlier today, I've read so many books that I have to wait for the authors to print new books for me to read. So I need to be busy, and I'm excited to start here.
What's the first thing you do as fire chief once you take the job? What's the first thing you do?
Sit down with the command staff and start learning how they do business and ask them why they do certain things to find out why we do what we do. It is getting into the weeds, learning and understanding everything. I am here to learn in the beginning and not make change, and then we'll make changes as we learn what's the best way to do that. As a team, we're going to work very well together as a team.
Chief Martin Richard, can you talk about some of the things that have been in the works here prior to getting here and have been discussed, like shift changes, the shifts that firefighters actually work, cross-training, paramedics, EMTs, firefighters, and I believe Seattle did something a little bit different as far as ambulance and using private ambulances or hospital-based ambulances. And so I'm wondering if those are changes that you might consider bringing here to DC.
Again, for the first 6 months, I'm going to be learning why we do things, how we do things, and then we'll be talking and we'll be sharing our different experiences to figure out what's the best way and what's the best level of service to provide to the community. I think that it is incumbent on me to come in and learn how they do business before I start deciding this is the way to go, because different parts of the country, different things work very well. And so that's what I'm here to do, learn, lead, and be a part of this great organization.
Chief Aaron Davis for the Post. Welcome. One, I don't know if you've had a chance to, but there's been written a lot of reports on the fire department's response to the Metro meltdown last month or a month and a half ago. There was a lot of timelines in those reports of firefighter response times, 6, 7, 8 minutes, depending on the situation. Are those acceptable response times to you? And have you had any initial reaction to those response times?
Well, I know a couple things. I have looked at the reports that are available right now, but I have not actually sat and talked with the men and women. One of the things I've learned is this: if you're not there and you don't know what the challenges are in front of the team and what's going on, it's very hard to say, hey, this is what I would have done. So until I have an opportunity to read the report, until I have an opportunity to sit and talk to the commanders and the responders, I think it's incumbent on me to sit back and learn and listen. If there are things that we need to change, we'll be changing. When I was the fire marshal for the city of Seattle, we actually came out here to Washington, D.C., spent time going through the Metro Tunnel and working with the fire department, and they helped guide us as we put together our deep stations. So I know the department's been involved in the past. I know that they have a great core, and I'm looking forward to working with that core.
What were your response time goals in Seattle? What were your benchmarks for a good response?
We used 4 minutes, the NFPA 4 minutes for our first unit on scene.
Chief, did you elaborate? Because one thing that we are impressed by in Seattle is that they had outcome goals. So in addition to having response goals, the chief can tell us, for example, I made the point already about the number of people who called with a cardiac emergency and their outcomes based on the care that they received. And so we want to make sure that we're focused on more measures.
So to follow up with what the mayor's saying, so as part of our strategic plan, it's looking not only at our emergency medical side, but it's also looking at our fire response side. It's looking at what we call non-emergency responses, and that's the goal when I get here, is to look at how we best can provide services and use data to help us make those type decisions for everything from fire responses to emergency medical responses to what I would call those non-emergency responses.
Chief, a lot of problems have been, I guess, occurring in recent years over the replacement and maintenance of apparatus and equipment around here. Have you been given any assurances about how the city plans to help get that up to speed?
Well, as I said earlier, the mayor has committed to having us do an assessment, a better assessment of where we are, and then we'll work with the mayor and the council to start taking steps to make sure that some of the challenges that we saw in the past we can address.
I think in the last couple of years, a lot of firefighters in this department have said that they've been forgotten about, they're irrelevant. If we were to ask some of the firefighters in Seattle about the relationship that you have with them, what would they say about you? What are some of the things that they would say about you? Because likely we will be, and I want to get your side of it.
Well, I'm glad you asked me first. Let me say that. We were just talking in the hallway about my golf score, and I said, well, since no one's here, I'll tell you what my golf score is. No, actually, I had a great relationship with the firefighters. We used to laugh and joke at multiple alarms because my incident commanders would say, Chief, do you mind stop laughing and joking so we can put them back to work? I thought they called the multiple so I could come out and visit with the firefighters. I like sitting down and talking with firefighters. I like sitting down and talking with everybody. One of the rules with me is no one likes to ride with me because I stay and talk to everybody and they want to go back home. I'm not in a hurry. And my daughter's here today and she will tell you that she doesn't like to ride with me. But when I go in fire stations, my job is to sit down and talk to the firefighters. My job is to deal with those silent moments when you walk in and everybody's silent and start talking to them. Also, my job is to help them understand that when it's time to hold you accountable, holding you accountable means simply that. It does not mean I don't like you. It does not mean that we don't have a relationship. And that's, having been the chief of personnel and having been the fire chief, I understand those differences and I'm prepared to sit down and talk. And I actually welcome you to go down and talk to the Seattle firefighters and please share with me what they did say.
Chief, can I ask a couple of questions related to Seattle? If you could comment on the whistleblower lawsuit that you've been involved with there. And then I think it was Cairo did a piece on DUI, and I think what may be concerning some reporters here is that the reluctance to talk to the press for several months during that. We've always enjoyed pretty good times, bad times, pretty good accessibility to our police and fire chiefs here in the city, and we'll still enjoy that same accessibility to you.
So the answer, let's start with the whistleblower that happened. So I demoted somebody, and at the same time they set up the demotion dealt with the fact that they had made a complaint to the ethics committee. I was not aware of that. That lawsuit, we have prevailed in that lawsuit. But at the same time, the other side of that coin, the individual that I demoted, I actually promoted, and we continue to talk on a daily basis. So we disagreed on a business piece, but it did not impact the friendship. And that's really what I talk about, because it's important for these men and women to understand that. We may disagree on some things, but it doesn't mean we can't continue to have a relationship. There was an issue that dealt with DUIs in our city. A number of firefighters, not a number, but about 4 firefighters had received DUIs, and our policy was not up to date with some of the other city departments. And so we were working through that. It wasn't a matter of I wasn't available. It was a matter of my office decided that this was an issue that could be dealt with at their level. And so that's what happened in that one. Eventually I ended up sitting and talking to the media, but it wasn't a matter of I wasn't willing to talk. That is my responsibility. One of the things for me that you'll see is that when things go right, you will see these men and women in front of the camera. When there's challenges, it's my responsibility to be standing in front of you and answering those questions.
One more question in terms of how you deploy your firefighters. What kind of shift do they work in Seattle? It's always been an issue here, the overtime with firefighters. What's the situation in Seattle? What do you prefer?
We work a 24-hour shift, and we work what we call 24 on, 48 off, 24 on, 96 off. Again, it's not the shift that is the issue. The issue is, can we deliver the services that work for our community? And so whether I've worked a 10-14 schedule where I worked 4 10-hour days, took a day and a half off and worked 4 14-hour nights. It is just a matter of what is the right shift for your community that works.
Can you tell us what role Judy Jones will have with the department now and why he will no longer be interim chief during the transition period?
Well, we're moving forward, and we promised a fresh start on this department, and that's exactly what residents expect. We went through a very intensive search, as I indicated I would, a nationwide search, and we reviewed a number of very interesting candidates within the department and outside of the department. And as I told a number of people when I called them yesterday, I had some very good news, and that good news was that Greg Dean said yes. And so Greg Dean is going to be our next fire chief, and we'll look forward to working with Chief Dean on how we fill out his support team, the command staff that are really going to be out there working with our men and women to make sure we deliver quality service. We're very thankful to Chief Jones, but Chief Jones will be moving on, and our interim chief will be Chief Mills.
So can you clarify when Chief Jones' last day was? Is he still employed?
We'll follow our normal separation procedures, and he'll be on administrative leave.
And can I just ask you, as far as the interim chief, talk about the transition period?
Yes.
Can you tell us when he takes charge?
Yes.
How long the contract is signed? How much he's getting paid?
I can tell you that I wish he was starting tomorrow, but he has to get out of Seattle, and he'll be starting the first Monday in May.
And he'll become chief, so the interim chief Mills.
Effective today.
Is interim chief, and as of May 1st, Chief Dean becomes.
He will become the interim chief.
Interim chief until he's confirmed.
That's correct.
And then can you get us like a contract, salary, like
Sure. The chief serves at the pleasure of the mayor. Thank you.